Hello everyone, Rosie here, and today we're making a sourdough starter with grapes. It's based on a recipe by Nancy Silverton. We have 200 to 300 grams of unwashed red grapes, seedless grapes. Wrap the grapes in a piece of gauze or muslin, whichever you have, and tie it in a little knot. Then we take a rolling pin and gently bash the grapes to get some juice out. To make our starter we need a jar, which is 1.5 to 2 liters of volume. In the jar we pour a cup of flour and a cup of water. Then dip our grapes into the mix. I decided to add another half a cup of flour and half a cup of water. What is a sourdough starter? Simply said, it is natural yeast which is present in our air and in our case on the skin of grapes. And when you bake the bread with sourdough starter, you have a completely different taste and aroma to your baking. Mix it well and cover with a lid. We'll leave this alone for a couple of days. So on day 3 we see that there's some activity happening. You can see grape juice. We can shake our jar a little bit and leave it for another day. On the 4th day you see how my sourdough starter has more grape juice and it will be smelling very specifically. It will be sour and sweet and not very pleasant. So I decide to feed it by adding half a cup of flour and half a cup of water. We mix it all well and leave it for another 2 days. Sourdough bakers believe that bread baked with sourdough starter is more natural and healthier. So you can easily make this sourdough starter and start baking your bread with some practice, and then you can say that you're an artisan baker. On the 6th day, my starter is ready. On the video, I don't know if you can see, but it is very hungry and it has a very sour smell, a very alcoholic smell. You can also see some grape juice in it. I decided to take the grapes out and feed it with a cup of water and a cup of flour. In my opinion, sourdough starter is one of the best ways to bake your bread if you're really into bread baking. I also decided to add half a cup of flour because my sourdough is too runny to my liking. Then we mix it well and leave it for another day. On day 7, we definitely know that the sourdough starter is ready. It has a nice, pleasant smell. The smell can be a little bit sour if it stewed for a bit longer than it's needed, but it is all okay. We don't worry. All we need to do is to feed it some more. So I take a clean jug, add a half a cup of water and a half a cup of flour, then pour half a cup of flour starter. We mix it really well. I'm adding another half a cup of flour to make the starter a bit thicker. In the video, my starter is really bubbly. It tells you about its activity. I pour my starter back into the clean jar. You can leave it in the jug. So I done all this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I left the starter till the next morning. On the day 8, you can see how it doubled in size and growing. You can start baking your bread on it. I totally agree that sourdough starter takes time to develop and a bit of more practice to learn to bake bread on it. But as soon as you handle all that, you'll be baking a delicious healthy bread in no time.